Hello, it's Jane here. I'm up at the plot, but today I'm not going to be showing you what I'm doing with my vegetables or any of that sort of carry on. I'm going to share with you the project that we've been working on for the last week or two, and the eagle-eyed amongst you might see there's a little clue just behind me. So come on, I'll show you what we've been up to. Okay, I've mentioned before that we've got this area right at the top end of the allotment that really isn't great for growing things under, because you can't see it, it's off camera at the moment. We've got an absolutely beautiful, enormous cooking apple tree here, which means that the roots are similarly enormous under the ground. So we've tried growing things under it, we've had sweet corn grown under it before, but the nutrients really aren't very good at all. So at the beginning of the year, I was talking about making it into like a medicinal herb area and planting flowers there that would be useful for things like medicine, for things like food, for things like cosmetics, and basically just putting them in and allowing the ones that took and did well to stay, and you know, the others didn't do very well, fair enough. Didn't get round to it, so we still had an empty spot, and then the opportunity just arose more or less out of the blue a few weeks ago, where one of our plot neighbours has decided to downsize his flock of chickens and just said, would you take some off us? So we said yes. What could we do? So yeah, the last couple of weeks have been frantic with trying to get a coop together secure enough to put some chickens in, but come in, I'll show you around. Okay, so let's go in and I'll show you the ladies. Look, we've got a lock on the door. We've been very good. So what's happened, you'll notice that one of these chickens isn't like the others. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, but let's just put this lock on. This isn't very good on the inside as yet, but it'll do for now. Right, okay. They've all decided, they've been pecking around and scurrying around and everything. Look, there's a swing. I know. It can only be matched by the xylophone, but enough of that. They've all decided to go and have a little snuggle down in this little makeshift shelter under here. We put this here because it's been, although it's been raining, it's been quite warm, and we really wanted them to have a little spot to get shady in, so they seem to quite like it in there. Yeah, they seem quite cosy. And of course, if you're going to get yourself a second-hand hen house, what other colour are you going to paint it than a nice, I think it's called bold plum. But it is, yeah, I would like to think it's more of a lavender colour, because these ladies are of a certain age and we can think of them as being ladies in lavender. But yeah, we got this off a second-hand, whatever you call it. And yeah, it's okay, but the best thing with it, it came with an automatic door open and closer. So we've been coming up every morning since we got the chickens to check that it's working properly, and so far it is, it's great. But I had great fun making this little ladder. Just out of some glue and some old bits of wood, and just seeing them going up the ladder at night is just something to behold. It's wonderful. It really is, up the wooden stairs to Bedfordshire. But yeah, so we were pleased with that. But literally we got the, hello, we got the house and then built the pen around it. Okay, this one is Cora. And this little lady was one of our neighbour's flock that we've taken on. And he got them, they were rescue chickens, they come from a battery farm. And by all accounts, we didn't see them, but they were in a terrible, terrible state, really frightened, really scared, very few feathers. And they've been looked after so, so well. They're actually really tame at the moment. I'm saying really tame, you know, they don't jump on your lap yet for a tickle. And I'm sure she's seen something on the ground she'd far rather be having than being stroked by me. But yeah, it just goes to show, you know, she's not going to give us many eggs. None of them are. They're all quite old in chicken years. They're all over the age of 3, so they're way past their prime. But already, just that that little noise that she makes. I hope the mic's picking that up. You're gorgeous, aren't you? Hey, she's absolute little pleasure to have around. And now you want to go down, don't you? And now you want to go down. Here we go. There we are. Here we have Lady Mary here. Slightly darker feathers, actually an absolutely beautiful colour, but she is starting to molt. But in front of her, we have Edith. Okay, and that's the other thing, they're going to eat all of our old leaves. And then, stage right, here comes Cora. Are you sensing a theme yet? And here's the lovely Mrs. Robinson, who came free with the hen house. Okay, what it's time to do now is go and collect another chicken, because what we've done, we had Mrs. Robinson here first. Of course, there's a chicken just behind the camera there, you can probably hear it's very interested in the tripod. She was here first because of course she didn't know any of the other chickens, and we were trying to minimise any hen pecking or any fuss, literal hen pecking, you know, and any dominant behaviour. So we thought if we had her first, she'd have time to sort of establish her territory, which is why it was a bit of a panic last weekend when we got the hen house and a chicken. We didn't have the run built or anything. We didn't expect to have the chickens in so soon. So she spent the first couple of nights in the top shed, which she was fine with, she was fine. But then over the week, sort of every night, every other night, we've been introducing a chicken just before they go to bed, just before they start roosting, and in that way they're just a little bit more docile. There was a little bit of a peck to begin with between Mrs. Robinson and Cora, but they sorted each other out, and within 20 minutes were snuggled up on a perch inside the hen house, so they were fine. And of course the red hens all know each other from the old flock anyway, so there's been no bother at all with them. So far I'm so glad with how they're all getting on, but you just never know, do you? So now it's time to go and select another chicken to join the lavender ladies. Okay, we've just introduced Sybil here, and that's what happens. Straight away, Mrs. Robinson is the boss. She's told Sybil who's who, and Sybil now knows that she is not the dominant chicken in the thing. I mean, it can be quite alarming if you don't know what to expect, but yeah, Mrs. Robinson, she's holding her own. And I think that's good because the others all know each other and they've got strength in numbers, but she's a little bit of a maverick, Mrs. Robinson. But the thing is, if we look at Sybil here, we've got Sybil, Cora, Edith and Lady Mary. Not going on the swing like they did in the marketing for the for the swing. Not having hours of fun on that, but really integrating quite well. And it's just good to see them straight away scratching away for their food and their grubs. And dear me, Mrs. Robinson doesn't know what to make of this, does she? What's going on? There's another chicken. I know. I know. There we are.
She might be going to tell us one more time.
Okay, so how about that then? I know a few of you guessed what was going on, and but yeah, if you told me a few weeks ago that I'd be sitting up here on our little patio looking at a little flock of bedraggled chickens, I wouldn't have believed you. But I've got to say, I'm quite, not besotted because I'm a grown woman, but I do quite like them, you know. They are sweet. We're not going to get any, well, we will get the odd egg, But like I say, they're sort of past their laying best. So if we get one, it's going to be a real treat. We've had one so far, and Mike had that because he'd worked really hard trying to put the run together. I mean, that's been the other problem this week. We're trying to get this run done, and by the time Mike's been getting in from work, it's been after 6, and it's dark at 8 o'clock now. So it's literally been home, changed, up to the plot, getting stuff done. I've got as much stuff as I can do in the day. And then, yeah, back as soon as it gets dark and have our tea then. But it's working well. It is working well. And I mean, the thing is, it just keep making me smile. I didn't expect to feel like this, you know. I was quite resistant to getting them when the opportunity first presented itself. I think that's the word. I automatically said no, we don't need them. We've had them before in the past, and our chicken days are gone, you know. But I'm so glad that we did. One of the things that's swayed me to getting them though is the fact that we have got this automatic door on the hen house. So according to the sunlight, it will go up in the morning and down as soon as it gets dark. So as long as they get there in time, I know that they're going to be safely snuggled away. So obviously we'll check on them during the day, but it means that we're not going to have to be coming up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and letting them out. They'll be quite happy. So yeah, we have had them before. We lived in Northumberland, the wilds of Northumberland, so almost the northern border of England, many years ago, and we had a bit of a small holding there, and we had chickens, we had a goat, Gertie, and our dog. And yeah, the difference there was a lot of land and they were properly free range. They lived in a big old barn, and again they were rescue. They were battery hens, and we had the Rhode Island Red, we had the Warrens, we had Banties, we had Morans, we had all sorts, and they were absolutely lovely. But our favourite one was we were driving home one night along the country lanes of Northumberland, and in the headlights on the ground we saw this little chick, a black chick, just literally sitting in the middle of the road. So what else do you do? We picked it up and we took it home and we nurtured that chicken. I mean, now looking back, I would think to myself, I don't think it occurred to us that the mother might be nearby, because it was just literally on this road in the middle of nowhere, looking to get squashed by the next car. So anyway, we looked after it, we took it home, we kept it under a little lamp, we fed it with a Bic pen, as it was then, you know, we dropped little bits of water into its mouth, and yeah, it became, we called it Junior, and it did become a bit like one of the family. It refused to roost with the other chickens. It used to come in and sit next to our dog, Sinbad, in front of the fire and watch telly. It sounds like I'm just making it up, but the dog would be stretched out in front of the fire and Junior would just come up next to him, sit there. She was only small, she grew into quite a small black chicken, but she was absolutely beautiful, and she'd just sit next to him and the dog would look at us and look at the chicken, probably thinking she looks tasty, but I'm not going to eat her because I'll get into trouble. And you know, she did become one of the family. When we did used to let her out, well, she did go out, when she wouldn't mix with the chickens, but she would mix with Gertie the goat. And so I remember, I mean, it was an old farmhouse we were renting, and it had big old sills on the outside, and Gertie used to come, the goat, used to come and put her head on the sill, and Junior would be sitting next to her. So you'd be in the kitchen trying to make a cup of tea or, you know, whatever, trying to cook dinner, and the pair of them would be looking at you. And we'd take our dog for a walk over the fields, and Gertie would come with us, obviously, and Junior would try her best to try and sort of run after us, but she could never quite keep up. But bless her, yeah, she was a lovely chicken. She was at our wedding. There's a picture of her somewhere. I wish I had it now. There's a picture of her somewhere sort of sitting on my shoulder. I didn't have a big white wedding dress. It was more of a casual affair. But yeah, she's sitting on my shoulder. So she was a bit of a witness to the wedding. So yeah, happy days. And I think she taught us really what sort of personalities little chickens can be. And that's why I'm still smiling. I'm still smiling. They probably haven't got long to go, if I say that, because they are getting on a bit. But, you know, while they're still here, we can give them a nice little retirement home, can't we? Our little ladies in lavender. So yeah, so that was it. That is our new venture, adventure. We're very, very lucky that we've got the space to do this up at the plot. And yeah, long may it continue. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because it's meant to be a little short introductory video. But let me know what you think of them. I think I quite like them. I'm smitten. All right, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.